Hey, how's it going? Quick video to basically update. I am still using Protopic pretty much daily, just because, do you know what, it is working and it's a solution. I know there's a lot of people out there who basically say don't use Protopic, don't use steroids, don't use any medicine, don't use any of that, and I know I am almost sounded like a broken record, but honestly, the more and more I spend time in the Facebook Itzan group, the more I realize that people are just, some people are lucky and they've come out of topical steroid withdrawal and it's been fine. There's not been any issues beyond a couple of years of struggle, but some people have been struggling for over 8-10 years, and that's a long time to be almost unable to work, unable to live, unable to do anything really, because you're in constant pain when that happens. I've been in topical steroid withdrawal. I've done it twice and it's agony. It is literally agony. It's like, I guess for people who don't have eczema, the best way I could describe it is, you know that sting when you have a paper cut? It's like, imagine that all over your body all the time. And you get to the point where you're dreading showers, baths, whether you're taking Dead Sea salt baths or showers, you are literally dreading any water contact, and it gets so bad that you can't sleep, because at night your cortisol is up, and by the time your skin does manage, without steroids, without any medicine, by the time your skin does manage to start healing and start joining up, you get an intense itch, and that itch is indescribable. But you can't scratch it, because that's the point where your skin is just about to heal. And again, you're not using any medicine, you're using your natural, this is your body's natural way of healing itself. And by the time you get to that, the itch is so intense that you just literally break your skin open. And then what happens? You ooze, you bleed, and then it's a constant cycle. I've been in situations when I did topical steroid withdrawal the first time, it wasn't even a thing, it wasn't even called topical steroid withdrawal. I saw a natural doctor, a holistic doctor, and she basically said, here's some tinctures, use olive oil on your body, take the tinctures and don't use steroids, literally don't use steroids. And she basically, I was like, what do you want me to do? She was like, okay, don't eat fried foods, don't eat anything with preservatives, don't eat anything with color, don't eat anything with dairy, don't eat anything with gluten. I was like, the fuck do I eat? What you so she was like, look, the best thing you can eat is pumpkin seeds. And I was like, I can't live off pumpkin seeds, like seriously, what you on about? And she was like, look, just have a really natural diet, as natural as possible, and you'll be fine. And I was like, okay, fine. So that took a couple of years. I did that for a couple of years, and I actually remember when Princess Diana died. I was in bed, and it was afternoon when we found out about it, and I remember my mum coming up to my room and telling me, and I was in so much pain. That news fell on deaf ears. It wasn't until later that I actually realized, wow, Lady Diana's dead. But anyway, this is the time when I would wake up with my bed sheets stuck to my back from dried blood, and to remove them, it was agony. Every day there was blood all over my bed sheets. It was so bad. And then I thought, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So then I stopped topical steroid withdrawal. And I guess I was in my teens at that point. And then again, I did topical steroid withdrawal later on in life, probably about 10 years ago, something like that. And I did that for about 3 years, 2-3 years, something like that. And, well, almost 3 years, yeah. And that time it was topical steroid withdrawal. And again, I bought into the whole idea of, you know, Marvin Rappaport and topical steroid withdrawal, and it wasn't as mainstream as it is now with TikTok and Instagram influencers on topical steroid withdrawal. Now it's just like everywhere, everyone's talking about it. But then there was groups and there was some awareness, but nowhere near what it is now. So I started topical steroid withdrawal again, and again I went through probably about a year of absolute agony, and then I saw a doctor, not a holistic doctor, a medical doctor. I say medical doctor with tongue in cheek. but I saw a doctor who prescribed me cyclosporin, which almost made my skin like Wolverine. It's like I would scratch it really, really aggressively, but it wouldn't cut, it wouldn't bleed, nothing would happen, but I would still get that immense itch. And she was very supportive of me not wanting to use steroids. She said, look, the best thing is cyclosporin, but then that started literally damaging my body, and then she told me to get off it and go on methotrexate. I did that for a little while, and it was actually going quite well until I broke my leg, and I had to stop the I went back onto cyclosporin from the methotrexate. I had to stop the cyclosporin when I broke my leg, because my leg needed to heal, basically. So, and then at that point I was bedbound, because obviously I had a broken leg. So then it was like, look, either be in pain, continued pain, or just go back to steroids. And I decided to go back to steroids. It wasn't an easy decision, because I still, after you suffer for a while, it's really hard to think, do I really want to start again? But I decided I want to live. At that point, he's 9 now, but at that point my son was 2. We had just moved into a new house, and I couldn't spend time with him because I could run after him, because my legs were in pain all the time. And every time we go to the park, I would be miserable because I would be sat out in the sun baking. Walking was hard, running around was hard, moving was hard, and I was just in constant pain. So then I decided, you know what, fuck this. I'm not going to do this. It was a very, very conscious decision I made, and I could go back to topical steroid withdrawal at any time, but I also want to live. I could get run over by a bus tomorrow after being on topical steroid withdrawal and being in absolute agony for 5 years, 10 years, whatever the timeline may be. And I don't want to be in that position where I haven't lived the best life I can possibly live because of something which may or may not heal. And I know there's a lot of different people with different opinions out there. Some people say yes, it is going to heal. Some people say yeah, it will heal, but it will take time. Some people say no, it probably won't heal. There are different opinions out there. This is my opinion. This is me putting my message to the world. Look, topical steroid withdrawal is, I would say there's a lot of misinformation being spread about it. In this day and age, I'm using tralokinumab to back up my sort of protopic and steroid use. So that's an injection every 2 weeks, and that injection works. It's not ideal because it's not really good for my eyes. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but my eyes have gotten quite bad, but they're managed again with another drug, cyclosporin, eye drops, Icurvis it's called. But look, as far as I'm concerned, there are ways to manage the condition that we have, and I am choosing the pathway of drugs. So I honestly don't want to see, I've seen the worst pictures you can imagine, and I've been in the worst situation that you can imagine as well, with people being on topical steroid withdrawal, and it's not pleasant. It really is not pleasant. And I just want people to know that there is a choice. Don't buy into social media. You know, a bunch of people are talking heads, and arguably I am one of them. I am a talking head, but at the same time, I've been through a lot of what people are going through, and I've seen the different sides of every story that there is here. And you know, people will be on topical steroid withdrawal, and then they'll be like, yeah, I'm on Dupixent, or I'm on Rinvoq. And it's like, okay, do you know what? That's still a drug, and you're still suppressing your immune system. Cyclosporin, same thing. I mean, what do you think is going to happen when you come off these drugs? Like, it's not going to magically disappear. But the drugs are working, and there are being more and more advancements in the drugs, and the type of drugs that are available and, you know, approved by the FDA, NHS, things like that. And we have this at our disposal. You know, do your basics, look after your diet, eat well, spend time outside, spend time in the sun. You know, wear your sun protection, but spend time in the sun. If you're on Protopic, spend limited time in the sun, because you know, there are black box warnings for that drug, which I know people will highlight and point out in the comments, but I know that there are. And if you made it to like what 10 minutes to this video, then yeah, then I've acknowledged the fact that there are black box warnings on Protopic, but I still use it because it doesn't thin the skin, and shit, it works. So yeah, that's my sort of back from the gym, traffic, sat in the car rant take on what's up. Anyway, happy healing, all the best.